In this video I'm going to show you how you can take your competition images and use the LPS Entry Preparer application to set them all up for entry into a competition. The Entry Preparer application does all the hard work of putting the images together, putting the titles in, arranging them how you want. But it doesn't have any imaging processing capabilities whatsoever. You'll have to do your images in something like Photoshop or Lightroom or PaintShop Pro or the application of your choice. You'll need to create JPEG images to put into a competition, and they need to be sized with certain characteristics. I've got some entries already prepared in this folder here. Here you can see I've got 4 JPEG files. At this point it doesn't matter what file names you give them. We'll do the image titling for your competition entries at a later stage. Now I'm going to enter these into a competition that takes a maximum of 2 mono entries and 2 color entries. The application will make sure you don't put in too many images or images of the wrong type, and you can ask it to give you the details of all the competitions if you're not sure what you're allowed to do. So first thing is we'll go down to our Start button at bottom left, click, go down the list and find Lancaster Photographic Society. Click on that and find the entry that says Competition Entry Preparer, and there's the software. Now we'll have a quick look at some of the things this does. You'll find in most of the forms that you come across there'll be a blue link, tell me how this works, explain this to me. These will open a tutorial that tells you how to perform a certain action. You can read this on your screen or you can print it off as you prefer. If you want to see all the tutorials together into one place, go to the Help menu and click Tutorials. You'll find them all in there. So, the first thing we're going to do then is prepare our entries and get them arranged and titled as we want. So we click on the button, Get Your Entries Ready for a Competition. And we go to the form that says, which competition would you like to be working on? Well, here we're going to take Competition 1. We select it and we can check the details of it here if we want. We know the theme's open, so our images could be anything. And here we're allowed 2 color images and 2 mono images. So we've got our images prepared correctly. Click on that, click Open, and here we are working on Competition 1. Again, you can refresh your memory about what you want to do, what you've got to do in the competition by clicking View Competition Details here. So, we want to work on the entries, get them all entered, titled and arranged. So click on Prepare Your Entries for the Competition. And this is the main form where you put your images together. We've got no images in the competition at the moment, so let's click the Add Entry button. And the application says, OK, let's tell me now what image we want. So let's choose this color image and we click Open. Now, at this point, we can put in a color image or a mono image because we haven't got any at all. The application just reminds us of that. You can see the thumbnail of the image there to confirm what you've done. If you just want to have a closer look, click on View on Full Size and there's an expandable view. You can also see the technical details of the image, so you can check what you've done. Here particularly, The dimensions are 809 pixels wide, 1440 pixels high. That meets the requirements for the competition. And indeed down here in green it says this image is correctly sized. If your image is too big, the software will give you a warning here. Now, software can't tell whether an image is color or mono, so you do have to click the correct button just here. This is a color image. We'll click color, and now we want the title. Let's call that Broadbean. Now here you just put the words you want for the title. Don't put your initials, don't put your priority number, just the title words. There are a few characters that you won't be allowed to type. That's for various technical reasons, but you can do mostly what you want, and your title can be up to 48 characters long. Spelling and punctuation is entirely up to you. With all the details put in, we can click OK, and the image has been added. We said it was a color image, so it's been added in the color entries section. And there it is. Let's add the next color image. This one we'll call banana. And again, we have to tell the app that we want this to be a color image. We'll check here. Yes, we've got the sizing correct. Click on OK. There's our two color entries. Now let's get to the monos. We'll click on that. Let's take this one first. And we'll call this feet. Now, the application knows you're allowed two color entries, and it knows that you've already got two color entries, so it's saying you've got to add a mono entry at this point. So it's pre-ticked the entry type button for you down here, and again the image is correctly sized. There's our feet. Our final mono image comes in, which is going to be this one. Now here, look at the size, 2048 pixels wide by 1081 pixels high. That's larger than the size that's been set for the competition. And you get a little red warning down here. Now there's a link you can click to tell you all about how to do resizing. If you really don't want to face doing resizing yourself, that's fine. You're allowed to carry on. There will be a infinitesimally small loss of quality. That's just how image processing works. It's much better if you get to grips with how you resize in Photoshop or Lightroom. But if you can't, don't worry, carry on and the applications we use will sort it out for you. Let's call that image Pinball. And we click OK. And there's our 4 images all stacked up and ready to go into the competition. Now, let's look over here at this column that says priority. We've got numbers 1 and 2 for each of the color and the mono entries. The reason we prioritize entries is that sometimes we get a large number of entries in for a competition and it's just too much for the judge to handle, and if we're having a physical meeting we just won't be able to get through the images in the night. So if that happens, the competition secretary needs to reduce the number of entries that have gone in, and we choose the entries to hold back by you putting priority numbers in. If the numbers have to be reduced, then first of all, everybody's priority 2 entries will be taken out. That'll bring the numbers down. Depending on how many entries are allowed, we might get priorities 1, 2, 3, 4. the lower priorities from everybody will be taken out first until the numbers all balance. Now at this point we've put in our broad bean at priority 1 and our banana was at priority 2, but I think really the banana is the image that I'd like to guarantee is going into the competition, so I think that needs to be priority 1. So I can put that priority 2 image up to a priority 1 by selecting it and going over here to click the raise the priority, and the application has set things up so that now the banana is priority 1 and our broad bean is priority 2. Pinball, I think we can do a better title here, so select it, click title, and we will call it, let's call it table football instead. You can make as many changes as you like. You can close this form, close the application, come back and do things later. You can take images away, you can put different images in. You've got complete flexibility over how you get things arranged. Once you've done in this form, we'll click on close, and now we've got entries in, so a few more options appear over here on the right. We can get a look at the entries without changing anything here, and you can check the technical aspects of the image by clicking the gear wheel here. Yes, there's the technical details. You can create a list of entries that you can keep for reference to show what you want to do, what you've done, and if you do want to take your images back out again, extract image is the way to do it. Now, once we've got all the images prepared in the right priority order and the titles are all there, we need to prepare them for sending to the competition secretary. The application will put all your images into a single competition entries file. This is a special file that stores the images and the technical information and all the information that you've added all in one place. It puts your name and membership number and identifying details in, which gives you one thing to send to the competition secretary, and that can then be automatically processed when it arrives. And we do this by saying process the entries you've added to the competition. Let's click on this button here, and we send entries into the competition using the WeTransfer website. This is a free website that transfers large files. So we're going to create the single file that contains your entries. We'll click on this button here, and the application says I want to create a file with this very long name. We'll just adjust things so that it goes on the desktop and we can see it. Don't change anything in here, just select where you want to put it. Desktop is a good place, then you know where it's gone, and click Save. The entries have now appeared in your competition file over here, and it has this very long file name. Please don't be tempted to change this file name. The list of numbers and the details in it are all used when the entries are automatically processed. If you change it, it will just cause confusion and make things a little more difficult. The application then lets you send this file by WeTransfer. You can do this now if you want, or you can close everything up, have a think about what you've done. If you want to proceed to send your entries to the Competition Secretary straight away, you can use the Entry Preparer application to start the process off. We'll click on the Cloud button here, which will start the WeTransfer website in your favourite web browser. If it's the first time you've used WeTransfer, you'll have to do some clicking to agreements, and then it's running. First job is select the file you want to send, which will be that competition entries file we created. We put that on the desktop, and there it is. And we're going to send it to the Competition Secretary, and the email address, which is rather long and difficult to type, is competitionentries@lancasterphotographicsociety.org.uk. The WeTransfer website has no way of checking that you've typed that correctly, so it's entirely up to you to get it right. Competition entries at lancasterphotographicsociety.org.uk. We need your email address. You're going to get a message from WeTransfer in a moment, and it also helps us see who is sending entries in. The email address here is happyphotographer2567@gmail.com. Again, this is entirely up to you to type that address correctly. And an important stage is just send us a little note to say who you are and which competition you're entering for. That helps us keep all the entries straight and avoids confusion with everybody sending in entries at the same time. So just put in something like this to say it's an entry for competition 1. So we've put in the file we want to send, the address we're going to send it to, our own email address, and a little message, and we click transfer. WeTransfer now wants you to just put a verification code in just to prove that you typed your email address correctly. So we'll go to our own email, and here it is, a message from WeTransfer which says your code is 063385. I'm just going to copy that out back to the WeTransfer website, and I can paste that back in, 063385, and I just say verify. Off the transfer goes. It'll take as long as your internet connection takes to do it. We've finished with WeTransfer here. We'll close the website. Going back to our own email account, and you'll see your files were sent successfully. Just check that you did get that address correct. If everything has worked, you'll see an email message in a few days saying that the Competition Secretary has downloaded your files. If you don't see that after about 7 days, have a call to the Competition Secretary to find out what's happened. You'll also get a message from WeTransfer in 7 days saying your transfer is about to expire. You can happily ignore that. It's just trying to sell you a paid subscription where file transfers are kept for a longer period. So we have finished. We can close our competition and our entry preparer application, and your entries are now in, and I hope you do well.